Batak will always be a part of my life, no matter where I go, no matter what country I'm at, because Batak is where I grew up. And the most memorable experience I've had, is touching down from the plane. It felt home. Despite the hot weather, but it just feels like I never left. When I used to live here, your neighbors, they know who you are. Your neighbors down the street, they know who you are, who you're married to, how many kids you have, and they still remember me. And it's a nice feeling because they welcome you home. I've never had a vacation for the past 3 years, so I figured, you know what, if I don't go now, I will never go back, so I'll go. And I decided to come to the Philippines. It's meaningful to me is because I've never forgotten where I came from. I needed to remind myself where I started. Because a lot of people that leave the US, they forget who they are and where they came from, and they forget the people that they grew up with. And for me, my childhood, although I was only here till 6, I remember every single bit of it. So I wanted to come back and relive the memories that I had with my grandparents and my family.
Our benevolence donors for this staff. May God bless you and your trajectory.
I came to see my Nina. I think she was really young when I was here, and what I remember about her is she was always playful, and they have not changed at all. Their mentality, their kindness. Batak has changed tremendously, but the people have remained the same. I was asking my Ninang, I said, who knows I'm coming here? I said, because well, everyone knows. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. Because you can't keep the gossip. You tell one person, then the whole barangay knows, right? It felt great because I used to run around in this school when my Lola would come and visit. And I wasn't old enough to go to school here because I was 3 or 4, and going back to the school here and just seeing the kids. And it brings so much memories. I could imagine myself walking around picking flowers because I love to pick flowers. And my grandmother would tell me, no, let's go home. But that is where I grew up. And this high school was, this elementary school was somewhere that I always hung. It's close by. So I would walk here with my grandfather and my grandmother. And to me, this is home, and it's a place where I'll always remember and it will always be with me. One thing I've learned is being humble and know where your roots are. We tend to forget that when we leave. Because their goal is to leave this place and search for a better life, whether you go abroad in the US or wherever it is aside from here. We always say, I want to leave this place. And once we get successful, we forget who we played with. We forget the next door neighbor that we played with, or the mothers whose family passed away. We tend to just move on and we never come back. My grandparents showed me what true love was about. They cared for me and they loved me so much that wherever I go, despite if nobody likes me or not, I know how it feels to be loved. And that is something that I appreciate from them. My highlight of this trip, try not to cry, is going to my grandfather's grave. Every time anyone talks to me about my grandfather, I cry. And it's hard. I thought I was gonna cry today. He raised me and my sister. He gave up his bakery, and his bakery was in San Nicolas. It was the first and the most thriving bakery, and that ran for 20 years. And when my parents moved, they made a decision to close it to take care of us. So imagine, you have your grandparents that took care of their kids, and they're all grown up and they're gone, and having to give up the career and the money that they made for themselves just to survive, to raise 2 little girls who are makulit, and it's a lot to handle, especially girls running around and having tantrums and going back to see him. It was difficult. But what does it really mean to come home? For me, the Panagawid ko, or my homecoming, is not only visiting or going back to the motherland where I grew up. It's coming home to remind myself to always bring with you your Filipino values everywhere you go. Filipinos, we are amazing. We're very humble, we're generous, and we're kind. And we have the most amazing food in the world. And I think it's just us to speak loud and be loud. To always be kind and share whatever you have, because the world needs our help. This is it. It's on the corner of La Brea and Sunset. So this is gonna be the bakery. We are gonna build it out. I cannot wait. It's gonna be in the making. I'm really excited and nervous at the same time, but we are gonna do it, guys. This is going to be the bakery, and I can't wait for you guys to see what's in store and what we're actually gonna do. I wanna open a restaurant. I wanna teach. I wanna give whatever I can to anyone that needs help. And one of the biggest things that I wanted to do is teach kids. I wanted to come back and put up a center and to make sure that I'm able to give back, not just shoes, but donations of any kind and anything that will help this community. To stay grounded, even when the world lifts you up because of your success, this career, this path that I'm on, I realize that I am strong, that I do have a voice, and it's time for me to use it. I'll do what I need to do just to make sure that everyone knows what Philippines is all about. Also, don't forget where your roots are, because you can only be steady on the top when your foundation is strong. I realized that the reason why I was meant to go back is to find myself and find who I was and what I was supposed to do with my life. Coming home for me meant remembering where I came from. You forget the little things about your grandparents or the family member that lived next to you. And it's remembering myself. It meant really getting to know who I am. And finally, our dreams are like maps. They guide, lead, and bring us to our destination. I'm really glad I went home because now I'm going back.